And you have just crossed the line. End of debate. Report to the cargo bay and remain there until this is over. Is that understood?
It's ratchet.
Yeah, listen, girl, mama, please, you're a collector, darling. You're a collector.
Like the Vidians.
Honey,
collecting
exactly.
specimens.
Collecting organs. I think that's a great jump-off point. Miss Matinga, what are you doing?
I am opening up a energy drink.
Why?
Because I'm sitting here in my panties and I'm half dead. Welcome, 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 kids. This is Miss Matinga.
This is Mike Diamond.
And this is Booby.
And we are here for the second inaugural voyage. Wait,
no, there's one inauguration, honey.
Okay,
one.
So for the second episode
do it again, it again.
Hold on, wait, let me get further. Welcome, 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 kids. This is Miss Matinga.
I was talking, and I'm sorry, I interrupted your flow. Do it again.
Okay. So, children, half the world is dead. But I just want to welcome you into my parlor, my spider web, as it were. And this is the second episode of our fabulous podcast entitled Fire Chakotay. And it is all about our love of the sci-fi classic television series Voyager.
I'm just letting you say your say, girl. Miss Booby, yo, Matinga, that was succinct. It was heartfelt. It started with gloom and doom.
As always.
As always. Miss Booby?
Yes?
And I'll somehow splice these all together. Miss Booby, kick us off on this voyage.
So we on this voyage, right? I'm only kidding. So,
I'll tell you what. Why don't I do this?
Okay.
Fire Chakotay. This is Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
And this is Booby.
This is Miss Matinga.
I heard that.
Do it one more time.
Okay.
One more time.
I'm thinking Booger.
This is Miss Booger.
Miss Booger. Hello, Boogers. Hello, Lieutenants. This is Mike Diamond.
Hello there. This is Miss Matinga.
And this is Booby.
Welcome aboard to the second installment of Fire Chakotay, a Star Trek podcast.
That is correct.
That is correct.
And this is the second episode of our podcast. I do want to say that we're not going to go chronologically. We just did Caretaker, which is the premiere episode of Voyager. And now we're going to skip ahead 5 episodes to the episode entitled The Phage.
Yes, we're doing episode 2 of season 1 of Star Trek Voyager, The Phage. Miss Booby, what is this episode about?
It's about the crew goes to, are they hailed on a planet? They go to a planet or an asteroid. Is it an asteroid?
I'm so glad you studied this. Okay, girl, so they got readings about dilithium.
Right.
Because right away, I knew that. Suddenly their dilithium crystals are starting to go when these crystals should go for years and years and years and years. It's a brand new ship.
Honey, Crystal will let you go for years and years and
Trust.
years. And years.
But suddenly
the
dilithium. Yeah. So right away, the neural gel packs are having trouble and the dilithium crystals are having trouble. Mind you, they know how to recrystallize dilithium in the Star Trek universe, but for some reason the crew of Voyager does not. But they are on a mad search for dilithium, so much so that they are eating K rations. They're not even really trying to use the replicators because they are low on energy.
Because doesn't Captain Janeway at one point say that what she's going to have for breakfast is omelets with strawberries and brie cheese and this, that, and the other?
Yes.
She wishes. Robert Beltran's brie cheese.
Honey, you 70,000 light years from home, bitch. You're going to have a fucking ration pack. Get into
everybody
it.
Else.
Like everybody else, honey.
I thought you were going to say, you 70-year-old bitch.
You 70-year-old bitch. Snorting your dilithium crystal. So let's just table set a little. In case you don't know, they are stranded in the Delta Quadrant. It's going to take them 75 years to get home. And whoops, they're running out of gas.
They're freshly stranded, too. They are stranded. Lovely.
Yeah. But she still has time to whip that hair into a bun.
Always.
Always, darling. Always serving. Always fierce.
Learn it.
So then they get a message about dilithium, which is their fuel, and they go down to the planet. No, who goes down to the planet? It's Chakotay?
Well,
Chakotay?
first of all, it's Neelix leads them to this planet.
I'm feeling
And then they go down on an away mission, and it's Neelix, Chakotay, and Ensign Kim.
right, because he got something to do. Yeah.
To give
Neelix won't stop talking. Right, and Chakotay's like,
right, she's feeling very chatty Cathy, and she had just finished cooking something on the ship. She just converted the captain's private dining room into a dining a galley
without asking,
which I think is fierce of her.
I don't think it's fierce at all.
Honey, ask at least.
Well, she should have asked, but she's an alien. She don't know this kind of crap.
No, but here's the thing.
Yes, she means well.
She knows how to use a frying pan. First of all, on this starship, how does this bitch have a private dining room? It ain't that big, number one.
Say that again?
Say that again, baby.
How does the captain have a private dining room? The ship isn't that big.
And why can't she just eat in her ready room, which is just off the bridge? And it's really nice.
And also, this hydroponics bay where he got the vegetables, how fucking fast did they grow? They've been out there a month.
Well, it's been 4 episodes.
Well,
that's a long time in Voyager time.
And
it could be months. Actually,
his girlfriend Cass, the Okwampan, is the one that's raising these vegetables.
Right. Also, it makes no sense that Neelix would be the cook because
he's riddled with germs.
Well, he's furry and he doesn't bathe. Much like myself.
Wear a hairnet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not wearing a hairnet. Like, honey, early to bed, early to rise. And in between, he cooks and cleans and tries to get between Kiss's thighs.
Yes, going through life with spots all on is tough.
It's so tough to see.
Yeah.
But also, the food that a Talaxian could eat is not necessarily food that a human being could eat.
Or a Bolian.
And also fruits and vegetables that are good for a Talaxian are not necessarily good for a human being. So like that, those are like kind of like fundamental questions that they're just like, go with it, girl. Just go with it.
Suspend your disbelief.
Yes, you got to suspend it.
Exactly. And right away, I just find him so annoying.
Sexy.
I find him like a Puerto Rican mother, like endearing and pushy, and a little cookie.
And the hair is like that. Pakistani cab driver,
like slightly balding, but it's still there.
But you still love her, yeah. And she's got a ring. He's got a ring of keys that'll open everything from the warp core to the Galorndon core
to the pantry. To the panties. From the pantry to the panties.
And by the way, he is hooking up with Kes, who is only 2 years old. Okay.
Yeah, they only live to be 9, so really she's like, in her species term, she's a teenager.
She's in her late teens.
By the way, she has a really flat affect, Kes. At least in these episodes. She has like no emotion, really.
But there's something. First of all, I think she's really quite lovely. She's really lovely. And she does have a nice chemistry with Tom and the Doctor. Yes. Strangely, not with Neelix, but with Tom and the Doctor, she's got a nice chemistry.
Because they're trying to set it up that like Kes is like, the sex kitten on the ship. And so every male being positioned to like be into her.
I thought it was
maybe like just like the kitten.
Okay,
yeah, I think B'Elanna would be more of the like sex kitten that's gonna kill you, honey.
Honey, vagina dentata.
The vagina done taught her?
What? The vagina done taught her.
Oh, honey, listen, I'm about to write the vagina dentata monologues.
Trust, bitch.
It's gonna be very y'all motherfuckers can't take it.
So they go to this asteroid or planet or whatever. Surprise, there's no dilithium.
No dilithium.
Some aliens have been there, and in the quickness, they scoop Miss Neelix's lungs right out of his body. They use some kind of space technology to steal his fucking lungs.
It looks like a scanner that Starfleet has, but it's got 2 points on it.
Right.
And much more powerful than a Starfleet scanner.
Right. Very
and can do more, yeah.
So they transport back to Voyager. Neelix ain't got no lungs.
She's gasping.
They're gasping.
She's truly gasping.
She wishes she could gasp.
She's gasping.
And in the quick, the Doctor sets up some kind of holographic lung,
which I think is fabulous.
Yeah,
I love the whole concept.
Yes.
Solid light.
The doctor, irascible, in a bad mood.
Yes.
You know, like, but like you can see already starting to stretch in such a way that this character does eventually become a sentient hologram.
I love the part where Tom Paris is like questioning the validity of holographic lungs because holograph is just light, and the doctor slaps him.
Slaps him. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
But a hologram is just a projection of light held in a magnetic containment field. There's no real matter involved.
Just show him.
Slap the bitch.
And you can see Tom like just in his head, like, you know what? If I'm gonna go into this program and fuck this mofo up.
Yeah. He was gagging.
But Tom is usurped eventually by Kes as the doctor's assistant, nurse, or whatever. And I actually love Kes as the doc. I think Kes goes a long way to helping the doctor reach sentience.
Potential.
His potential.
At some point, though, Tom does sort of become the medic, right?
He does become the medic, yeah.
He becomes the medic, okay.
Because you have to have a nurse anyway.
Are you a nurse?
Are you a nurse?
Right, but they don't have a counselor.
No, not all Starfleet ships have a counselor. Well, not every single one.
They needed one on that ship.
Right, but they didn't know it was going to be a deep exploration vessel.
Who filled in as the counselor? Was it the doctor? Was it Kes?
Chakotay spirit animal?
It's kind of the doctor, no, not
Tuvok.
No.
None of them, really. The captain.
There was the captain.
They just had to make do.
They had to make do. So, I mean, mind you, they thought that this was going to be a 2-week mission. It's just a little science vessel with a science, like little 2-week mission. It's a little science vessel with vessel.
Science vessel.
It's just a little science vessel.
Raspberries.
With 200 crew. The Enterprise, the next gen Enterprise D had, I think, over 1,200.
Yeah.
And so, like, Voyager's she's a smallish ship. She's a tough little ship, but she is a smallish little ship.
Okay, so Neelix, oh, you snorted, girl. So Neelix is in the medical bay. The doctor has him sort of like in this iron lung contraption with holographic lungs. So he's conscious, but he can't move and he can't speak because if he comes out of alignment, he'll stop breathing.
Well, he speaks.
Well, he can't speak, but he can't carry on.
Right.
He can speak, but he can't carry on.
Could you hang some silks and put on some music?
Right. He's carrying on about he doesn't like the view of the ceiling. It was like, no. But that's because he's in denial and he's using humor to be like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to talk about the ceiling, So he can't move. He's stuck there. Janeway says, we're going to find whoever took these motherfuckers' lungs and get them back.
The lungs.
The lungs.
That's right. Indeed she does. Indeed she does. And they go off on that mission and chasing what turns out to be a race of aliens called Vidians that have been suffering over 2 millennia with a disease called the Phage that is sort of nebulous, but like, I guess, eats them up from the inside out.
Well, phage means eat. Like
okay.
Yeah, so it's...
And they look really disgusting.
How I know that?
How you know that?
Science, bitch.
You got a dictionary?
She got the phage, honey.
Honey, because I've been eaten inside out by an alien. Trust, bitch.
An illegal alien.
Honey, the ice broke in. I was like, no. Hector, no.
No.
Don't take my Hector.
Don't take my Hector. I was almost there, y'all.
Don't be suffocating you with a cheeking.
Ay, mommy, no. So they look disgusting. They look kind of like zombies. But what I was wondering was, if they've had this for like 2,000 years or 2,000 generations, if they look so fucking disgusting, how are they having sex and reproducing? They look horrible.
Carefully,
and like
very carefully,
because the lemur could just break off,
fall off,
and stay inside.
Exactly, like they got Hansen's disease or something. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and what they do is they comb the surrounding sectors of space for either freshly dead or, I suspect, anyone that is compatible.
The Vidians do that, not Janeway.
The Vidians, right? The Vidians do that.
So they harvest organs because they need to replace their organs, which this disease called the Phage is tearing up.
Right.
And they came across Neelix, and he was compatible, and they took his lungs and transported them right into this other bitch's body.
So straight into a donor, and so he can't get his original lungs back. The recipient, and he can't get his lungs back, and so that puts Janeway in an ethical quandary. Does she kill this guy so that she can return Neelix's rightful lungs to him? Mm-hmm. Does she stick these two clearly amoral characters into the bridge? Into the brig, excuse me, for the duration of however long this voyage is? Because what does she do?
No one on the crew has lungs that are compatible with Neelix.
Well, there are no other Talaxians.
Right. Although Cass is like, take me. No, bitch, your lungs don't fit.
Right. And the whole time, I'm thinking, this is a lot of moral weight for just a few months into the Delta Quadrant. And I sort of understand the Starfleet way. I do understand that why she let them go. She was going to let them go. And I do understand, although I bet you there was some Maquis on that ship that have been like, cut this bitch open.
Honey, B'Elanna would have ripped them lungs out with her bare hands.
Yes, she would have.
Honey, with a melon baller.
Yep.
Yeah. So go on, Michael.
Okay, so Janeway, they find the Vidians, they capture them. The Vidians throw a little bit of shade at the doctor, saying his medical stuff is primitive. Well, as it turns out, their little scanner thing. Oh, I forget what happens.
So what happens is, so she's going to let them go. And, what's going to happen to poor Neelix? He has to live out the rest of his days like this. But the person who received Neelix's lungs say there's maybe a medical intervention that they can help with. And what they figure out is, since everyone on the ship is healthy, so they're not Vidians, they don't have the phage, because what happens is the Vidians cannot give donations of tissue and organs to each other because they all have the phage. So since everyone on the crew was healthy, they could transplant a healthy lung from a healthy crew member, and it did not matter that there are no Talaxians on board because the Vidians have sufficient medical
they're advanced.
To make it happen. And so Kes gives Neelix one of her lungs. By the way, something I had totally forgotten, because it never seemed to bother her. She could run around. She could do her thing.
She never gasped.
She was young. That's right.
But you know what, though?
Can you live on a lung?
You can.
Living on a lung?
But it would also, it would make a big, big difference,
of course,
to your life.
There are people that live with one lung.
Yeah,
for sure. So in the end, the Vidians use their medical technology to take Kes's lung and give it to Neelix. So they're both alive. The Vidians have Neelix's lungs. They get sent into space after Janeway gives them a stern warning that she will fuck them up if they do this again.
If I ever encounter your kind again, I will do whatever is necessary to protect my people from this harvesting of yours. Any aggressive actions against this ship or its crew will be met by the deadliest force.
And this is not the last time that they are going to come across the Vidians, darling.
Right. So it's a morality play wrapped in some lung tissue on an asteroid.
Now, can't they? Well, I guess that's a whole nother story about what if. Oh,
bring it. What?
Can't they grow lungs? Do you remember in Star Trek, A Voyage Home, when they're running, they're saving what's his name?
The
Chekhov.
whales.
Chekhov, yeah. They're in that episode, in that movie, they're saving Chekhov, who was captured and was in a hospital or something. And the woman says, "I grew back a lung. I grew back a kidney. The doctor gave me a pill, and I grew a kidney." You don't remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Why? So why couldn't This is Voyager is way past time wise.
But also in Next Gen, doesn't Dr. Crusher like replace Worf's entire spine or something like that?
Oh, because he falls and then he's like, "Kill me."
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, "No, how about I make you a spine?"
And like it's like it's a replacement. It's not like it's not a grow. It's not a. She somehow just replaces it. That's the thing. Like
It was the doctor said that Neelix's lungs were hooked into so many systems in his body, right? That it was just too complex, and they don't have Talaxian.
Why can't they do a stem cell?
Because if they did that, we wouldn't have a story.
That's right.
That's why.
Right, because then 2 minutes later, he can, however, make a holographic lung.
Right, which I also was like, that.
Well, isn't that equally as complicated?
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
A holographic lung. And I get it. It's in magnetic casing, and that's how he was able to slap Tom Paris.
Across the face.
I mean, it's science fiction,
That's why we love it.
As episodes of Voyager go, didn't hate it, didn't love it. I will say I was digging Miss Janeway, looking crisp and thin and in charge.
Yep.
For this episode, like standing on just stalking that bridge.
Yeah, her voice in full gravel.
Yeah, very like vocal fry on there.
I like the warning she gives him at the end about like, if you ever try this shit again, bitch, don't stunt, honey, because I'll lay a bitch out.
And that's the thing is that she does hold. So she when it suits her, she holds very closely to the Prime Directive and a sort of very humanist moral code when it suits her. But then we will eventually get to Tuvix, and then I've got shit to say.
But you know what? This is another example.
Oh, yes.
We'll get into that.
Right?
But, so this is another example of Captain Janeway putting another species
above her crew.
Like in rapid succession, honey, you can't let Neelix die. You took responsibility for him. And I get it. It's like Starfleet, whatever. But I'm on Team B'Elanna, and I would have ripped that motherfucker's lungs right out. Okay? Mm-hmm. Although, on the other hand, I don't like Neelix, so also, bitch, you could die.
Oh, don't say that. Not
I said Neelix.
It. Not my Neelix.
Cass with some tender moments here.
Honey, chicken tenders.
Some chicken tender moments, and a wig that is doing her no favor. That 5 episodes in looks dirty and stiff.
Exactly.
And it's just very it
looks like it has dried sweat on it.
It's a cheap, hard front. I mean, it's got bangs,
but a wig.
Yeah, but it's like a helmet, and yet she looks. Miss Jennifer Lean. From what I gather, she got hooked on lean, and that's kind of what turned.
We'll get into that. I have to be honest. Last night I did a little research on her, and she had all the troubles that we'll get into later. Girl,
many troubles.
You had more troubles, girl. But we'll get
the
into
actress that plays Cass. You mean?
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Get out of town.
No, it went bad for her, girl. Bad.
She clearly has
alive.
Just barely.
She clearly has mental health issues that I don't want to mock, but she had a couple of bad incidents and run-ins with the law, and she ain't looking so good.
Oh, Miss Cass.
Oh, Miss Cass.
So, you know what I did notice? I think that
there's a like gays that are totally into Star
Voyager.
Oh,
Miss Cass.
Oh, Miss Cass, you can't take it.
Oh, Miss Cass, you better slay.
Oh no.
Oh, Kwampa. Oh, Kurumpa. Oh, Kurumpa. Yes. So when Neelix is in the Iron Lung and Paris is talking to Cass about whatever, this, that, and the other, Neelix gets like all jealous. I think he's a creeper. I think he's possessive. I think he's abusive. I think he's gaslighting her. I don't like Neelix.
And it's not the first time that he gets jealous of her and Tom.
Yep, he gets jealous of Tom. He goes off the chain every once in a while.
Yes,
but
he
you know
does.
what? But you know what? Tom is attracted to Kes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He is, and Neelix can tell, because can't
But
you
so
tell
what?
that Tom? But now Tom, I also think that Tom is too decent to make a move on her,
and Kes, of course, is too naive. She doesn't has any,
and she doesn't see it, right?
Or for whatever reason, you know, she loves Neelix. I mean, she gave him her fucking lung.
But she's got a big old, furry and
all giraffe spotted. So I thought it was
forked.
Ew.
Probably
like a cat, right?
No, like a lizard's tongue.
Oh, you and your lizard obsession.
Hey.
Also,
come on, girl, bring it.
Also, nerdy.
You love the reptilioids.
The reptilioids. Also, nerdy nonsense here. But once again, so if Kes is Ocampa and Neelix is a Talaxian, who's to say that they would even be sexually compatible?
Ooh.
Do you think they're having sex?
Oh, God.
I think towards the end of that third year, they definitely are.
But you know what? How do we know that he's just not, you know...
He's not the passive.
Or he's having a little buffet dinner. Whatever.
Or she's got a penis and he's got a vajayjay.
We don't know.
Right. Wait, he's having a buffet dinner with
snacking at the fucking all-you-can-eat buffet, darling.
Like what? Like no, I don't get. Like Neelix is bi and he's having sex with crew members or something.
Eating her out.
Oh, it took us a while to get there.
Oh, Miss Cass.
Oh, Miss Cass. No, Miss Cass.
I think it's interesting.
Neelix, you don't want it.
Miss Neelix don't want it. Hey.
Don't want it.
I think it's interesting that we did an episode, the Phage episode, right now at the height of the global pandemic. So we're going through sort of a phase right now.
Well, I was watching, and so his lungs were giving out on him, and so that's why they steal Neelix's lungs, and
you're like, yo, Governor Cuomo, get us a ventilator.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yo, Neelix needs a ventilator. The lungs, the holographic lungs are kind of a ventilator, and so while I was watching it, I was like, you know, they went through this pandemic, the Davidians. Right. No, not the Davidians.
The branch Davidians. They went through their own thing.
The brand new Davidians.
Yeah.
The branch Vidians.
The branch Vidians. Do you know that David Ian Extravaganza, who was the father of the House of Extravaganza many, many, many years ago, he was a dear friend of all three of us, but particularly me and Booby. One day he bugged me out because Waco had just happened. And he called me up and he was like, Matinga, did you see that they're burning up all these people in Waco, Texas? And I'm like, yeah, that's like on the news. What's up, David? And he's like, they're called the new Davidians, the new David Ians. I was like, you're silly.
Honey,
but they were the new Davidians.
Yeah, that's right.
The new David Ians.
I like the wordplay, but I also think that's narcissism in effect.
He was bugging out.
Right.
He was bugging out. I had to go over there and calm him down. Play with Clarissa.
And she explained it all.
That fucking cat, man.
So in the context of Star Trek Voyager, not one of my favorite episodes, but I think a solid Trek outing.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
I hadn't watched it in ages, and like over a decade, and I genuinely, it took me there. I was like, oh, they're right fresh on their voyage.
Even though it was a Neelix episode, and he's my least favorite character next to Harry Kim, I still enjoyed it.
And I also think that Voyager was ship shape for most of that voyage. They were able to keep, everything on, and they had energy, and they were able to trade and do stuff like that. And I actually think that there should have been more episodes like this where there were a smattering across the 7 seasons, but there should have been more episodes where they're fucking running out of energy. Like they need supplies. It must have been a constant search for supplies.
Yeah, they look pretty clean and comfortable.
They're clean and comfortable.
There's like a reset button every episode, which is okay.
The thing about Voyager, and I think I said this for the last episode, I love Voyager. Voyager is my favorite Star Trek television show. But the thing that Voyager suffered from, that, say, something like Deep Space Nine did not suffer from,
was how boring Harry Kim is?
Well, there's that. But also there is... Voyager, because of the way syndication works, they didn't want overarching storylines. They didn't want overarching. They wanted character growth, yes, they wanted, but they didn't want like 5 episode stretches of one story.
Where now everything is serialized.
Right, and so what happens is you get Alien of the Week, Disease of the Week, Disaster of the Week, is what you get. Now, yes, eventually they started having stories that carried over a little bit more, but Deep Space Nine, I mean, it was all mythos and story.
Word.
You know, and like that kind of, people love that now. So that's the one thing about Voyager that was a little bit disappointing. It was very whatever of the week.
Right, that's true.
So this was Disease of the Week.
I give it, a 3 out of 5 Chakotays.
Oh, I give it a solid 3 out of 5 fire Chakotays.
Booby?
I give it a 4 out of 5. I really liked it because it set up the whole Doctor for me, the likability of the Doctor for me.
And I'm gathering that he's one of your favorite characters.
He is. His struggles to be human. I identify.
Yes, and someday you'll get there.
Lord knows you're struggling to be human, Miss Bo.
Yes, that's right, bitch.
Before we wrap this up, I do want to say that we are finally stepping into the 21st century. And if you want to tip us at Venmo, you can now to pay for these fancy microphones. So you would tip us at Workshop, WERQSHOP. If you want to tip us at Venmo, it's Workshop, WERQSHOP. Any amount you want, and you don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And Anthony, are you going to sneeze?
I sneeze, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We also have a Patreon set up, but we haven't quite figured that out.
Yeah, children, because listen, fish gotta swim, but a bitch gotta eat.
Trust, bitch. Yes.
Okay.
And Neelix gotta breathe. You can find Fire Chakotay on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all those places where the kids go, I believe. It's true. Because I did it myself.
I believe.
So
I believe.
Keep tuning in and share the love if you wish to. This is Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga and I believe.
And this is Booby. Bye.